Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 81 of Big Brother All-Stars, and this is Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Now, right off the bat, there are definitely a spoiler or two being mentioned tonight, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, you're going to have to shut it down and come back later. That's your warning because we're going to talk about some competitions that occurred. So with that in mind, as a reminder, we had on Thursday the first round of the final three competitions occurring. Physical challenge for the most part. Nicole won that competition. So Nicole has already advanced to the final two competition on Wednesday. Tonight, we had a lot of conversations, but we also had round two of the HOH competition between Cody and Enzo. I know that's what everyone wants to hear, more so than any conversations that took place. So without further ado or stringing it along, let's talk about the round two competition and who won tonight. So the winner of round two is Cody. Is anyone surprised? I guess Enzo had the chance, but now Cody wins round two of the HOH competitions. So we're going to end up with Cody and Nicole competing against each other on Wednesday night. The winner advances to the final two to face the jury. They also get to decide who to drag along with them. So that's where we are. Cody and Nicole have now won this. The feeds cut out fairly late last night for this round two competition, about 8:30 or so Big Brother time. I know the house guests were a little perturbed. They kept waiting to get called, expecting the competition, and they waited around all day long. They were in bed. They were practicing their memories and dates. Enzo and Cody were, and they just were anxious for this thing to get underway. Again, it didn't shut down. We didn't lose the feeds till about 8:30 or so. We didn't get the feeds back until, 12:30 or so West Coast time, Big Brother time. Some info that we know about the competition. As expected, we didn't see it live. So we're only going off what little bit of information we heard from the house guest. And really, it's almost all from Enzo. I didn't hear anything from Cody or Nicole, but Enzo spilled the beans on a few things. So what we do know about the competition, it did involve questions, as everyone had expected, but it sounds like maybe it only involved three separate questions. Enzo mentioned that later on in the evening, said, all that studying for three questions. So he said that it also somehow involved pigs. I don't think they're living, real pigs, and maybe they were stuffed or something. Plush animals or something. I don't know, but supposedly it involved pigs, a balance beam, a swing maybe of some sort, having to pose for pictures, maybe with your answer in hand before you knew if you were correct or not. I'm not real sure, but a lot of different components. So it's probably a fairly big setup and everything else. Not a clue exactly what came into play, but those are the little bits and pieces we heard, again, primarily from Enzo. Now, in terms of the results, this was mentioned a little bit later while Enzo's in bed. It wasn't a close competition. Apparently, Cody did the competition in 4 minutes, while it took Enzo 37 minutes. Yeah, big difference between the two. Cody just blew it away. So not even a close competition. Enzo's not happy at all, as you'll hear as we go through the conversations. So as I mentioned before, so Wednesday night, Cody and Nicole are going to go head-to-head in the final round. Winner advances to the jury, to sit in front of the jury, and they pick who goes along with them. We would expect Cody and Nicole to take each other based on their conversations they've had with each other. But really, Enzo needs to spend the next few days in this house up until finale night. He just needs to spend the rest of the time in the house arguing how much more certain either one of them will be if they take Enzo, how much more certain it will be that they'll win that $500,000 if they take Enzo versus taking each other. If I was Enzo, I would be reminding Cody and Nicole every few hours from this point until Wednesday, every few hours, I'd be reminding them about Cody losing to Derek and using that as an example of what happens when you choose friendship or loyalty or promises over what may be the most strategic decision in terms of what it takes to win the competition. He needs to get it in both of their minds that if they take someone just because they're friends with each other, that they could lose $500,000. That is Enzo's only chance to get drug along, I think, is to make them so uncertain about their ability to win if they don't take him. So I think that's a strategy. Don't know that it's going to work, but he needs that's what he's got left. So he needs to be working on it. Campaigning has just started for Enzo now. All right, so when the feeds return, we've got Nicole and Cody playing chess with each other. Enzo heads to the shower. He doesn't appear happy, and now we know it's because he's lost the competition. He's cursing a little bit and just not really happy. Nicole later mentions when Enzo gets out of the shower, I think Cody maybe was in diary room at this point. Nicole mentions that she may fix some pasta to eat for dinner. She's kind of hungry. And Enzo says, yeah, if you're cooking something, I'll eat some as well. Later, when Cody comes out of the diary room, Nicole says, yeah, I'm not actually hungry at all, but I just offered it because I think Enzo would do better with some food. I think he probably would like some, and he'll feel better. So very nice of Nicole. She's watching out for Enzo and trying to take care of him. So props to you, Nicole, on that. Enzo is now in bed in the photo room where he spends most of the rest of the evening. He's complaining about how he messed up on the competition, let everyone down. At one point, he says the last, I guess, of these 3 questions, the last one he really messed up, didn't do well at all on. Maybe that's why it took so long. But he's saying he let everyone down. He's talking about Cody and wondering if Cody would really take Enzo to a final 2. He had asked Cody earlier if he would, and Cody said, yeah, for sure I would. But Enzo was kind of thinking, he kind of said that quickly, and was he really serious? I'm not so sure he is. Enzo sees the writing on the wall. Enzo is talking about how hard it's been to play. That Enzo's 42 years old. How hard it's been to play, trying to keep up with the young cats is a term he uses. Tell me about it, Enzo. I was 54 last year when I played. I know what it's like trying to play with those young cats. So yeah, I empathize with Enzo. But he's talking about how a little bit difficult fitting in and competing and playing the games and everything else. Lots of just resignation in his voice and a lot of it is what it is. I gave it a run. I gave it my best. Everything else. So he's feeling a little down right now. Enzo eventually comes back to the kitchen table and does eat the pasta, his midnight pasta, while Nicole and Cody continue to play backgammon or start playing backgammon. They're all talking about the backyard, really hoping they get it back for at least tomorrow. I know Nicole had said earlier she wanted to do some laundry and all, so they want the backyard back for a little bit. One last chance. You got to figure all 3 of them, the people in this house. This is their last chance at Big Brother. So if they get the backyard back tomorrow, it's probably their last chance ever to be in that backyard as well as part of the Big Brother game. So they're looking forward to it. The house guests are rehashing the season. They're talking about some of their favorite competitions, their favorite competition. And one favorite that they mentioned is the head-to-head competition that Christmas ended up beating Davon on when Davon selected the wrong answer in the finale. They're talking about how different the season could have been if Davon had won that instead of Christmas. Yeah, we viewers, we know. If Davon had won, the house would have gotten shaken up. Who knows who would be sitting where at this point in time? Yeah, it would have been a lot different, as y'all are aware, and we are certainly aware also. I really hate, just on personal, I hate that in my season last year, we didn't have a competition like that one where you had to pick the next 2 people to compete head to head just to force people to expose their loyalties and their strategies throughout the game. We didn't have anything like that. I would have loved to have seen how Kat or Jessica or Christy or some different people would have selected the targets going forward, but we didn't get it. Oh well, but it would have been fun. All right, from this, everyone's in the kitchen. They're talking about massages. Nicole apparently gets a lot of massages, but she says these aren't the real fancy ones with robes and all of that. These are just kind of very basic, not fancy places. I think she says something about she does it for medical reasons as much as anything else. At that point, Enzo starts talking about a massage that he and his ex, I guess they were married at the time, that a couple's massage they tried to get on some island that they were vacationing in. Enzo came in, he stripped down. He said he was laying there on his stomach, butt naked, when the massage woman came in and was shocked to see him laying there fully nude. She said, "No, sir, no, sir, we don't do that here. You gotta, no, that's not how we do it." So Enzo said, "Yeah, I just figured, yeah, on vacation, that's the way we do it." But she she wasn't having anything to do with that. And so that was pretty funny. At this point, they're bored in the house. They finished competition. Now it's just a waiting act until the end. Nicole is playing a game involving throwing peanuts into champagne glasses there on the kitchen table. She talks about how hard it is, but she gets more and more. She says, maybe it's not so hard. Eventually, she and Cody start playing some more chess, just to take care of some boredom during the time. At that point, Enzo watches him, brushes his teeth and everything, watches him play chess for just a second and says, that's it. I'm going to bed. Y'all have fun. Enzo's in bed. He's talking to the camera, saying that all he's going to hear when he gets out of the house is, why didn't he boot Nicole when he had the chance? But he's saying at least the moves he made got him to final three. And he really had been hoping that Christmas would have won an HOH or this last veto and booted Nicole out of the house, but it just never happened. Enzo is saying he doesn't want Cody or Nicole to get up there on the finale night, talk about how hard the decision was and how difficult, and then send them out the door. He says, just make the speeches quick. Just say, yeah, you're out, Enzo. Yeah, it is what it is. He's hoping that Cody does win the final two and makes a decision, because he thinks that there's a small chance that Cody would take him to the final two, but he doesn't think that there's any chance that Nicole will take him. He thinks Nicole is scared of facing him in final two. So he figures his only hope is if Cody wins it. He's saying it would be crazy for Nicole to actually take Cody. I agree, Enzo. I think a lot of us agree. You don't take Cody to a final two if you get the choice, and yet I think she will. And we very well may see a similar situation like we had with Derek and Cody in season 16. We may be talking about Nicole and Cody in season 22 doing a similar type situation. But Nicole has to win it first before that decision even has to be made. He's talking about pregame alliances. They heard about them as well inside the house. And he's saying, I don't know if Cody pregamed or not, but I know that I didn't. I came in here clean slate, nothing going on. I didn't pregame at all. I just played my game. I played as best I could. And thank you for that, Enzo. I appreciate it. He's worried that his kids are going to be upset. Or they're going to see him upset tonight, that he just apparently during the competition, maybe he was really upset. And then afterwards he's just been down. So he's saying, he's worried about his kids. And the good thing is he's going to see his kids pretty quick, and it's all going to be okay once they're together again. He's mad that Christmas made that comment during her eviction speech that Enzo was getting third place. He says, if she tries to get cute about it when I'm out of here, if she tries to get cute, say anything at all, there's going to be some wars. I'm not going to put up with it. So he's a little frustrated. He said that what she said, that eviction speech really got to Enzo, and he's still a little salty about it. At this point, we switch over, or the other cameras. Nicole is in the bathroom with Cody. She mentions that when she gets done, she will have spent 254 days in the house. It's a lot of days. So it's spread out over 3 seasons, but that's a lot of days. She says that she knew she would eventually be back into the Big Brother house one last time, but this is it. This is how she's finishing up. She's not coming back again. She's done forever. Nicole is asking Cody, saying, Cody, is there any chance? Are you considering who you would take to final two if you win this final competition? And she says, if you're thinking about taking Enzo, I get it. I know y'all are close. I won't be mad at you. Cody is saying, Enzo will understand. Smart move by Cody. Don't tell, even, I don't know if Cody's considering or not, but don't tell Nicole that you're considering it, because if you do, it gives her reason or justification for potentially not taking Cody. So now Cody needs to just, I'm taking you. Don't think I'm thinking about it for a second. Nicole, you are going with me. I'm not taking Enzo. He needs to stick with that line until the very end. Nicole is saying that she can't win against either of the guys in a final two. Well, of course she needs to be saying that. She shouldn't have either of them thinking they have any chance of losing to Nicole if she wants to convince Cody to drag her along to the final two in case he wins. So yeah, they're both still campaigning. They're both trying to position themselves correctly, even though we're at the very end. And with that, the conversation goes on to about 4 o'clock or so Big Brother time. So fairly late before they finally get bedtime. And there you have it, guys. So Everyone, have a fantastic Sunday. I will be back in 24 hours to start y'all's Monday morning. We'll talk about any more campaigning conversations that go on at that point in time. Y'all have a great one, guys. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.